Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my October wrap up. I don't know what happened to me in the month of October, but I somehow read 22 books. Did I have much of a life this month? No. But did I have a good time? Yes, I did. So we're gonna talk about all the books I read. If y'all enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the little like button. It really does help a girl out. And if you want to see more content from me, make sure that you're subscribed. Let's hop into it. The first book I read this month was The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. I'm giving this one 3.75 stars. I really enjoyed it, but it definitely isn't my favorite Freida to ever exist. In this book, we're following our main female character. She's just now entering the online dating scene. She goes for her first date and she realizes the guy does not look anything like his profile picture at all, but she's like, you know what? That's okay. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna have the date. You never know. It's a horrible date. It is literally the worst date she could have ever envisioned. She ends up making it back to her house safely, thank goodness. And her next door neighbor tells her, yeah, that's how they kind of go. It's a little bit of a 50-50. The guy that I'm kind of seeing, kind of not seeing, we don't have a label on anything. He was the exact same way at first, but I really do like him. I wish he'd put a label on something. A few days later, that same neighbor actually ends up getting unalived. The police come by our main female character's house and tells her, yeah, we're pretty sure the person that unalived her is someone she met through an online dating app. And the story goes from there. It was such an interesting premise to me, and honestly, I really enjoyed the story as a whole. The reason I gave it 3.75 stars is our main female character, ooh, she never used her head. Never once did she use her head, and I really believe that she had nothing going on up here. She made some very interesting choices where I literally just screamed at her the whole time. And so she was a bit insufferable in my opinion. But I loved the twist. The twist in the story is a classic Freida, and I did not see this one coming. I just wish I would have liked our main character a little more. Moving on from there, I read 2 baseball romance books by Lulu Moore, and I am obsessed with these. They're very underhyped. I've not heard anyone talk about them on here. They're part of the New York Lion series. They're interconnected standalones. I actually didn't start with the first book because that wasn't my favorite trope in the world. I started with book 2, and I was not confused one bit, so keep that in mind. But the one I started with is called Shake It Off. Fantastic, 4 stars. I had such a fun time with this. In this book, we were following Ace. He is the pitcher for the New York Lions baseball team. He is amazing at what he does. Every single girl loves him. They are obsessed with him. He ends up spending one night with our main female character, and he's like, this is the best night ever. What a great time. I'm gonna have such a good season. Woohoo. But she, on the other hand, actually had the worst time ever, and she ends up telling him that, and this throws him off of his game completely, and he is trying to enlist her to help him get his game back so that 1, he's a good pitcher, and then 2, he improves in what he's trying to improve on so that his future ends up being better, not just for him, but for other people. And it is a fun time. I really enjoyed this one. The next book that I read in the series is called The Baller. Y'all, this one reminded me so much of My Date with the President's Daughter, which was one of my favorite movies growing up. We're following another baseball player from the same team. His name is Lux, and he ends up running into the same girl several times, and he notices that there's always this random man not too far away from her, always just kind of lurking. And so this one night when he runs into her again, he's like, I'm going to defend her honor. I'm going to protect her because this guy is sketchy. And while he's doing this, he learns that this man that's following her is actually the Secret Service and that she is the daughter of the president. And it's so fun. It is literally so fun. They have a little bit of like a secret relationship until they figure out like what the heck they are. I really enjoyed this one, and I cannot wait until the next book comes out, because her writing style is phenomenal. Definitely check them out. They're on Kindle Unlimited, and I think they're barely 300 pages, so y'all can really fly through them. And they pulled me out of a reading slump, which is just the cherry on top. After this, I actually had a 24-hour readathon where I stayed up and read for 24 hours straight, and I slowly died, but I had a really good time during it. I'm not going to go in depth on all of these books because I have a spoiler-free reading blog. If you want to know all my thoughts / what they're all about, definitely check out that video up there. But the first book I ended up reading was Daydream by Hannah Grace. This was a 5 out of 5 for me. I know not everyone loved this book, but oh, I ate it up. Truly ate this one up. It's superior to Icebreaker, superior to Wildfire. I had a great time. If you read Icebreaker and you were a little disappointed by that, continue on in the series, because I do think that this book has a completely different vibe than Icebreaker. So keep that in mind. After this, I read 1-on-1 by Jamie Harrow. This is a debut. This is a basketball sports romance debut. Obsessed. 4.75 stars if I haven't already said that. It reminded me of an Emily Henry book or an Abby Jimenez book, but includes sports. I will literally be reading anything and everything this woman writes from this point forward. I loved it. Next, I read My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. I'm giving this one 3.25 stars. It took me a really long time to get into this book, and I can't tell if it's because I had been reading all day by this point or just could not connect with the author's writing style. But once I got about probably 50% through, I started to really enjoy this one. But it's a grower. It's not something I immediately loved. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. If you wanna hear more thoughts, definitely check out that video. Ooh, then I read the cutest and most cozy romance of my whole life. This is Best Hex Ever by Nadia Alfazi. I think this one might be a debut too. I'm not positive on that note, but this was just so romantic and cozy and everything I could have asked for a romance in October. I absolutely adored this one. 4 stars for the simple fact being it's under 300 pages and I wish it would have been a little longer. Wish we would have had a little more book to it, but so good. And I definitely will be reading the sequel because I learned that this is actually going to be a series. And I'm here for that. Definitely check this one out. Highly recommend. Next, I read Face Off by Chelsea Curto. This is the first book in the DC Stars series. This is a hockey romance. It's on Kindle Unlimited. 4.25 stars. This one was just so fun, and the romance was not what I was expecting it to be. We are following our main male character, who I think is captain of his hockey team, and then we are following our main female character, who just got hired on the hockey team as the first professional hockey player in the league. And right off the bat, she could not stand him because he didn't realize who she was. He just assumed she was another crazy fangirl. And so they have a rough start. They do, and it was just fun vibes. Another one, if you were in a reading slump, pick it up because this one revived me during my 24-hour readathon. And then the last book I ended up reading was Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, the first volume. I definitely need to continue on. This was everything and more. I flew through this thing, by the way. I finished this, I think with like an hour to spare of my readathon, but I thought it would take me the whole time. It did not. Flew through it. If you're in a slump, this is another great one for you. But I am gonna say, if you start this book, please make sure you have the rest of the volumes on hand, because I did not, and I literally wish I would have had them. Because I definitely would have binged this whole thing. I'm excited to start the TV show though. I've heard amazing things about it. If y'all have seen it or read the volumes down below, let me know all of your thoughts. So those are all the books I read for my 24-hour readathon. We are now back to a normal reading format for me. So we read Sunshine and Spice by Aurora Polite. This was a fake dating book that was just such a cute time, but I'm giving it 3.75 stars because the third act in this book, I could have screamed and thrown my book across the room. Ooh, that third act made me very angry, but everything else was great vibes. Great vibes, cutesy, made me blush, made me kick my feet. But that third act, oh my. We are following our main female character. She is just trying to get a jump start on her career. And so she's trying to help someone out with their business. When she goes there, the person in charge of the business is like very hesitant in hiring Naomi. And so they're like, you know what, I will give you a shot, but you're not my #1 pick. So there's already a lot of pressure on Naomi. The person who owns this business, her son, is the one who really runs the store when his mom is not present. And so he gets to kind of get a little closer to Naomi, and Naomi learns like, oh, your mom is trying so hard to get you married immediately. Like she's hired a matchmaker and everything. So if you help me by figuring out what your mom wants and make sure that she will keep me hired for the time being, I'll fake date you so that people will get off your back. I love a fake dating storyline. I don't care what anyone says. Fake dating is where it's at, and it's a superior trope. Definitely try this one out if you also love that trope. Just be aware of that third act, because you might want to scream like I did. These next 2 books I actually read when I was on a vacation. I read Coach and Blitz, both by Devney Perry. This is a part of her Wildcat series, I think is the name of it. They're 2 football romances. Chef's kiss. I don't see anyone talk about these books, and this is where it's at for football romances. These are actually 2 of my brand new faves. Like if anyone asks me for a football romance recommendation, I'm gonna throw out these books ASAP. The first book is Coach, and this one is a second chance romance. We are following our 2 main characters who were really good friends in college, and they were about to be something more, except the day our main female character made a move was the day that our main male character learned that he got his ex-girlfriend pregnant. He cuts off all contact to the girl he actually really liked. Her name was Millie, and he ends up marrying his ex-girlfriend to raise their kid together. Several years down the line, they're divorced. He is now raising his kid alone, and he decides to move back to his small town where he's taken the job as head coach for this football team. He doesn't realize that Millie is still in this town and also works for the athletic department at the same college. And so when he runs into her, he's like, this is my moment. This is my chance. I'm gonna get the girl this time that I actually want. And you're just following their love story, and it was everything. It was everything. Also, there's a no fraternization rule in this department. And so some may say it's a little forbidden. Some may say there's a little bit of sneaking around. It's good. It's good. The next book is called Blitz, and we are following our main character's best friend, who is, I believe, the assistant coach. And he ends up meeting this girl right before the season starts. He doesn't know anything about her, he's never seen her before. And they have a one-night stand together. He then is starting his new season, walking down the halls, and he sees her. He sees her, and it's not that she's a worker there. She's actually a fifth-year senior at the school who just transferred to finish up her volleyball season. So it's age gap, it's forbidden, little bit of secret identity, and it's very messy, but like I ate it up. I ate it up. Coach, I'm giving 4.25 stars to. Blitz, I'm giving 3.75 stars to, because there's something towards the end that I don't think was a necessary plot line. But other than that, it was a very, very fun time. And I believe that there's actually a third book in the series already out. So you best believe I'm gonna be reading that one soon. For some reason, I was really into sport romances during this month. So I read Slapshot Surprise by Melanie Harlow. This is the 5th book in the Cherry Tree Harbor series. Again, very underrated, and I love this series with my whole heart. The whole series is a small town romance, but this is the only one that's also a sports romance, hockey in particular. They're interconnected standalones. You don't have to read them in order, but just pick them up. They're literally fantastic. In this book, we were following our main female character. She honestly is a little afraid of planes. While she's on this plane ride, she's freaking out a little bit, and the person next to her is like, it's okay, calm down, not a big deal, we're gonna be fine. And then all of a sudden they hit a little bit of turbulence and she's losing it. She is losing it, she is not okay, and she's just spilling her secrets to the guy sitting next to her. And did I mention that he is like super, super cute? Super, super cute. She's ignoring this fact and just spilling her guts to him. Turbulence finally ends, the plane lands. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And she just runs. She runs off the plane, is like, good thing I will never see this guy again. But the reason that she was on this flight was to go to a wedding that he happens to be a groomsman for. So she runs into him. They get to talking. She learns that he's actually a professional hockey player, when he loves the fact that she had no clue who he was. And they have a very nice night together. Hint, hint, wink, wink. A month or two has passed and she learns she's pregnant. And so it's an accidental pregnancy after a one-night stand. And it's really cute. Now, I know a lot of people hate this trope, but give it a chance because it's really cute. You just get to see a relationship potentially blossom throughout this pregnancy. And I loved it. It just made me smile and made me so happy. Highly, highly recommend. I think I'm giving this one 4.25 stars. It's not my favorite in the series, but it's also not my least favorite in the series. And it's on Kindle Unlimited, so once again, y'all don't have an excuse but to read this one. Please and thank you. All right, here's where it gets a little iffy for me. I read Only With Me by Brooke Montgomery. This is the 4th book in the Sugarland Creek series. This one was not my favorite. I'm giving it 2.5 stars, and it's a generous 2.5 stars, which makes me really sad. But this series has kind of been a little bit of a downhill slope since I started that first one a few months ago. But that's all right. Even though it wasn't my favorite thing in the world, it could be yours. So I'm gonna tell you what it's about. We are following our main male character, and we get to learn a little bit of his backstory that we didn't get to see in the previous books. And his story's pretty dang heavy. It is pretty dang heavy. He runs into his ex-girlfriend, who he did have a lot of feelings for back when they were dating several years ago. But now that he's reflecting on it, he's like, yeah, I don't think I liked her as much as I thought I did. He's in this group message where he doesn't know anyone's names because he got added into it late. And so he's just kind of there talking to people. He sees this one girl and he's immediately like, I'm gonna message her on the side, get to know her a little bit, because so far through her messages, like, I really think we could be a fun thing. He does that. He and her really hit it off right off the bat. And he tells her, you know what, like, let's meet up in person. This sounds great. She tells him, perfect. I'll be the one wearing a bow in my hair. We'll meet at this restaurant. He shows up at the restaurant. He walks in and he sees that it's his ex-girlfriend's younger sister that's like 10 years younger than him. I believe he's 30 and she's 20, by the way. And It's messy. It is literally messy. And there is a case of secret identity because she doesn't know that he's the one that's been messaging her, because he literally leaves the restaurant as soon as he sees that it's her. We have that case of secret identity, and yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say for that synopsis. I don't know if it was like the lack of character development, if it was just the way the author handled these tropes. Something about it rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And so it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. I did finish it, but I also was cringing a whole lot during it. So if you pick it up, I hope it's a better time for you than it was for me. And I don't know if I'm gonna finish this series or not. There is one more book coming out, I think in January. Half of me is like, it's just one more book. You can finish it. And the other half of me is like, each book has kind of gotten a little worse and worse and worse as we've gone on in this series. So I can't imagine what the fifth one's gonna be. But also maybe it's gonna be like the redeeming one, the redemption. I don't know, I guess we'll see in January. Anywho, on a lighter note, after this, I picked up The Front Runner by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I actually thought this one was the second book, and so I've never read the second one. I went into The Front Runner assuming that it was that one. But I had a really good time with it, and I'm really happy that they're interconnected standalones because I was not confused one bit. This one has a little sprinkling of fake dating between her best friend's like enemy or rival. And it's fun. This one is a very, very fun time. Again, it's not my favorite thing by Elsie Silver. I don't know what it is about the Gold Rush Ranch series, but I enjoy them, but I'm not in love with them like I was with Chestnut Springs or Rose Hill. But I still have 2 books left. I have the second book and the fourth book, so maybe that's where it's at for me. But it just felt like there was something missing from The Front Runner, in my opinion. I don't know what it was, but there was just a little something missing. I did a reread of the Summer I Turned Pretty series, the last 2 books. So I read 2 of the books in that series. I'm not talking about them at all to y'all right now. If y'all want to see what they're about, check out my entire plot series because I will tell you everything. I will. And I feel like I've talked about them for a hot second. So we're just going to breeze past them. But if y'all want to check it out, definitely see that video right there. And finally, this is when I became a mad, insane woman. Because I read 5 books in the Magnolia Falls series by Laura Pavlov. In fact, I read the entire Magnolia Falls series because there's only 5 of them and I'm obsessed. She is a new auto by author from me, and this series was everything. I literally read a book a day. For 5 days, I read a new book in the series. And it was incredible. Highly recommend. And this is the complete opposite of the Sugarland Creek series because each book just gets better and better and better and better. I loved it and I will be screaming it from the rooftops. The first book is Loving Romeo. This one is a bit of an enemies to lovers sports romance set in a small town. And then the next book we have is Wild River. Again, a bit of enemies to lovers. And that's all I'm going to say for that one because the other trope I feel like could be a bit of a spoiler if I tell y'all right now, but it's a fun one. It's a fun one. Anywho, the third book is Forbidden King. This is brother's best friend, forbidden, childhood friends to lovers. Oh, I loved this one. This is where the series like took a 180 for me and I was like, there's no stopping me. There's no stopping me for this series. The fourth book is Beating Heart. This one is single dad, next door neighbor, new to town, doctor. Oh, and I love this one so much because the kid is a kid that you see in every single one of the books so far, and so you already love him. And it just made me so happy. It made me so happy. And then the final book is called Finding Hayes. It literally just came out. Childhood friends to lovers, except she just ends up leaving when they're like 16 and he never hears from her again, doesn't even know where she left. She comes back to town and she needs to get married like ASAP, and it's a marriage of convenience storyline. He is the town grump and she's just a ray of sunshine. Also, her name is Savannah, and this is how you know it's a good book because I hate reading books where the main character or anyone has my name, and it did not bother me one time in this one. It was fantastic, and this was easily the best book in the series, but as I said, each book just gets better and better and better, and I already need her newest book now because at the end of the series, you get a sneak peek for her new series, which is a character you've already seen from the Magnolia Falls series, and I'm in love and I'm obsessed and I need it now. I think that one comes out in January. But if y'all take any recommendation from this video, please let it be this series. It is fantastic. I cannot say more amazing things about it. Again, Magnolia Falls series by Laura Pavlov. Check it out on Kindle Unlimited. Y'all don't have an excuse. Okay guys, so those are all the books I ended up reading in October. I feel like we had a pretty good mix of new to me authors, new releases across the board in ratings. I feel like that was a pretty good mix, so round of applause for me during my month of October. Let me know down below how many books you read in October and also your favorite book of the month so that I can add it to my TBR. Again, if y'all enjoyed it, hit the little like button. I will see y'all next time. Bye everyone, love y'all.